Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing Swords. As always, I'm Andrew.
And I'm here to congratulate Gillian Keegan on doing a good fucking job while everyone else sits on their arses. But I'm sure we'll get to that. I'm sure you'll want to thank her too.
Maybe. We'll get to that. We'll see
Yeah.
how I feel at the time.
But, you know, she's done a good fucking job while everyone else has sat on their arse.
Yeah.
Well done, her.
Well done, her.
No one ever says that, though.
I'll tell you what, I feel quite august today.
Yeah?
Wearing all purple. Literally, shirt, pants,
You've
shorts.
gone full purple.
I've gone full purple.
It's a very leisurely colour.
Is that allowed? Like, do you never go full purple?
I never would go full purple.
Any particular reason? Is
I
it
don't think
just
I can
something
pull
you
it off.
shouldn't
I don't
do?
think I can pull it off.
I think you're playing yourself down, bro. I think you could pull it
You're
off.
right, I could pull it off.
Particularly with the Toy Story mustache you're rocking right now.
Do you like it? It's
Do you know what I mean by the Toy Story mustache?
Yeah.
The toy collector.
What it is when I'm not feeling very well.
Yeah.
The full shave is just too much effort.
Okay. That's a really thing is because I'm a man, I do know how long trimming your beard takes. It doesn't take that long. I know yours probably grows back faster than mine does.
Every half an hour.
But I'm assuming that bit just grew back as you were shaving.
Yeah.
You started with that.
Shaved here, and I knew by the time I'd
Have
done
you ever
it,
seen the
back.
Santa Claus?
Yeah,
Like he has the
in
fresh
the first,
shave,
yeah.
and then he wipes the face down, looks back in the mirror,
Bang.
and pow.
That's me.
Yeah. So did you just take a razor on the go with you?
Got one now.
Yeah.
Havoc when I'm out with the police.
Just let me know, and I'll put your line on mute while you're shaving during the pod, just to avoid any noise.
I've got it down to a fine art.
That's fair. Talking about noise, anyone listening to this episode, we've got windows and doors open today because it's
Top.
getting hot in here. So you
Top.
may get a bit of background noise. But
Too hot.
tough shit. Deal with it.
Might be.
We're not willing to suffer for you. Do you know what I mean?
I don't suffer for anyone.
No.
Apart from women
You
that I
don't
pay.
suffer fools.
Apart from women that I pay £250 an hour
Yeah.
in the West End.
You suffer for them, do you?
I suffer for them. But
In what way?
as a paid service.
What sort of suffering do you do?
You know, the kind of...
No,
You've seen them.
I don't know if I have. You might have.
Bro, why do I keep sending you these videos? What's the point if you're not going to watch them?
For some reason, you keep sending me them when I'm with Leanne, and she's not as into
I want
it
to give
as-
ideas.
The thing is, unlike you, I don't like getting beaten. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't like it, but I want to get my money's worth.
The thing is, you can do other things with
paid
these
for
women
it.
other than just asking them to beat you up and humiliate you.
No, I've asked. They said that's all they'll do.
I think you're being conned, mate.
Maybe.
I don't think that's what prostitution is.
Well, I did think that. But they said, we're not going to sleep with you. We're not going to touch it unless it's with a stick.
So you're just paying for not a nice time. Do you enjoy it?
I mean, enjoy is such a strong word.
Yeah. You tolerate it?
But it's a time where I'm allowed to be naked in a room with other women. And it's all consensual.
Which doesn't come around very often.
Not consensually. So it's all very...
I mean, it's always consensual, though.
Right,
of the implication.
because of the implication.
Yeah. And you're paying them.
And I'm paying them
Yeah.
a lot of money. Thing is
Is that considered consensual sex? Is that a silly question?
I think
Is paying a
No.
prostitute consensual? I know she's agreeing to it, but would it be...
she's still got her own limits. She can still say no.
Yeah.
That's why I think... I know it's legally. But I always think that you used to see... Didn't they always used to say you're charging for their time, not for anything to happen?
Yeah.
And that's technically a legal way round
that feels
prostitution.
a bit...
But they can say no.
I don't know. I think you'd struggle to make that argument in court. Do you know what I mean? He just paid for my time and I decided to blow him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look. How you make your money is how you make your
I think
money.
you need to tighten up your defence for when it eventually all comes crumbling down.
I'm not worried about it because we all know that the one thing... There's many scandals that might break on me. And we accept that.
The prostitution one's the
Prostitution's not one of them just because I'm not going to pay money. We both know that I am not going to give other people my money.
I think if you were rich enough, you turn to prostitution.
Yeah.
Like higher end as well.
If I was on like footballer money,
Yeah.
yeah,
You'd
probably.
be Carl Walker in it.
I probably would.
Yeah.
Look, cards on the table. I'm going through a dry spell. Yeah, I'm probably...
Yeah. How normal do you think that gets? Like, because I don't know how. I sort of get it, like why someone with that much money and exposure might do that, because you know what the person's there for. There's no attachment. There's no risk of like
Selling it to the papers.
Well, there is that, but
But less likely because then
less
they've got
like-
to come forward and go, I'm a sex worker.
and then they lose all their business. And
yeah.
so I sort of get that aspect of it. But at the same time, you can sort of get it whenever you want as well. So, do you know what I mean?
Don't know. Maybe it's the only way they get consensual. We know footballers struggle with consent.
Well, speaking of that, I mean,
It's on my list.
yeah, we might as well dive straight into.
Because I wanted, the reason I wanted to talk about it a little bit is because I remember an episode a while back, and you can go and find those in all good podcast places. It's a great opportunity
did I say
to go.
something in support of?
No, you didn't say something in support, but we had a discussion and we both disagreed on something.
Oh,
And I think that this is starting to back me up with what I said. Not completely.
okay. I don't remember. You'd need to elaborate on the discussion.
So we were talking about the Depp Heard trial.
Right.
And
Jake's
you know
having
what performance
technical
issues?
difficulties.
This has never happened before.
Much like Heard in that trial, performance issues.
This has never happened before. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say.
Just start crying.
If
It
I
tends
could.
to work.
Anyway, you said, well, I said that it doesn't really matter because you said it's very dangerous throwing accusations
Yes.
because it can really bring a man. And I said, even though I don't believe it for you or I, maybe. I said, but for the famous and the powerful,
Yeah.
nothing changes. They get their careers back.
Well, Johnny
And-
Depp's still not got his career back.
He's doing pretty well for himself. He's just choosing
Nowhere
to do
near
music.
as well as he was before, though.
But the Mason Greenwood thing,
Yeah.
he got he's playing at a top league. Do you know what I mean?
I think they're very different situations, though. Like, there's video and audio evidence
I agree.
of Mason Greenwood abusing
But my
his
point
partner.
is, this in many ways is even worse because there's evidence of it that millions of people have seen and heard, and yet he's still playing at a top level.
Yeah, but I think that's down to a misogynistic attitude. I think it's down to...
Well, I think it's down to...
Look, there's a balance to be found because I in no way think Mason Greenwood should ever be allowed to kick a football again. I think it's an incredibly privileged position to be in the position
I want to see
he
Kurt
is.
Zuma charging him like he's a cat.
Yeah. The thing is, though, if you're willing to hurt cats, you probably don't have an issue with someone hurting women either.
No.
So
Pussy's pussy, innit? I'm sorry, that's such a reductionist thing, but I did... The opportunity was there and I took it.
yeah, much like Kurt Zuma and Mason
Much
Greenwood.
like Mason Greenwood.
Um,
What I will say is this. I think it's a clever PR thing. Because I'd just like to clarify something. Because I've had this conversation half a dozen times over the last week or so.
yeah.
Maybe a bit more, but not much more. I'm not like saying I've had this 3 or 4 times every day. But I've had it quite a few times. And everyone said the same thing to me. Or a variation of the same thing. They said, oh yeah, but he was innocent. He was acquitted. No.
Mm.
No. Let's clarify some things. In a case like that, yes, they've got the video and the evidence.
Yeah.
But what you need to substantiate that is for the person who took the video to stand, to
In a
take the
court of
stand
law.
and say, this is what happened, this is the context.
Yeah.
Okay, this was not filmed, this was not planned, this was not taken during a whatever. This was the context, this is what happened, it's legitimate.
Mm.
Now, if she's not willing to do that, and if her friends and all the people they know aren't willing to stand up and say, yeah, actually, we've witnessed some really abusive behaviour,
Yeah.
then there's no case.
No, absolutely.
The Crown
No,
prosecution can't bring something. And that is what happens. So I'm not joking. I can count it now. I've had it with 1, 2, 3, 4 people. 5, but one of them was part of the same conversation.
Yeah.
4 people have all said he was innocent or he was acquitted or
I
whatever.
know, I've seen
and
it
that's
everywhere.
that's just
It's
not
disgusting.
what happened.
Yeah.
And when I've said, actually, no, he was just, what I've just said to you guys,
Yeah.
they've all said the same thing. They're like, oh, well, that does change things. But I think people do think he's been proven innocent because he said it. He came out and he said it.
Well, yeah, there's been a couple of reasons for that. United, in their statement, if I remember correctly, said
He's
through
done nothing wrong.
the investigation they've done themselves, the evidence they've seen, the people they've spoken to indicates to them that he didn't do it. That doesn't mean he's innocent. The police, yes, dropped the charges. The police could have potentially forced his now, I think, fiancée to testify against him. But they also have to take into account the well-being of the person involved, their safety at the time, and ultimately whether they publicly want to force a woman to do something she doesn't want to do about something deeply sensitive.
And it's her choice. I've said it before, but domestic abuse is a very complex situation.
And there seems to be this weird thing where people very quickly fall into victim blaming, which is just as dangerous as falsely accusing men. And that's why I think there is a balance. And I think you need to take each case as it comes with a lot of these things. So that's why I said Mason Greenwood and Johnny Depp's completely different.
But I just wanted to use it as a thing to say, look,
yeah,
Mason Greenwood even worse because we've seen the footage.
I can't explain to you why he hasn't been. Well, I can, I guess, because Johnny Depp at the time is probably considered an actor on the way down in terms of age and what he's capable of doing. Mason Greenwood still at more or less the beginning of his career with a huge upside potential. He was in scintillating form before it all kicked off and was about to sign a huge deal at United, if I remember correctly. So he, to them, is an asset that they see as potentially worth 100 million if everything goes really well. And what I thought was really deceptive was in their statement, they said that his development was going to be best served away from the club and that was mutually agreed. Now, in my head and in most people's heads, that meant he was being released from Man United. And then the first we heard he wasn't was when he was being loaned to Getafe.
Yeah.
And since then, and this doesn't help with the narrative either, I think the president of Getafe and their manager have both come, or the manager might have come out and said he was cleared of all charges and has been found innocent. And it said, who are we to argue with the court? It's like, it hasn't been argued in court, mate.
Exactly. And that I think is dangerous. I think it's a lot of people are believing that narrative.
And I'm going to piss off the Spanish here. I think, and I'm not just calling out the Spanish because clearly there's an issue in our country as well. We have a very deep issue with exposing these things and how deep rooted it is, and it's constantly everywhere.
Well, I mean, can I just? It's so funny as well that Getafe were the ones that take him on when the Luis Rubiales thing kicked off.
Yeah,
the Getafe president was one of the first
to condemn him
names in La Liga to come out and say, well, he should be gotten rid of and punished. And
does that make you think he could have been potentially misinformed and that he's been so lazy in looking into it that he's taken United at their word when they've said he's not done it?
Maybe.
Because I don't know how big a case the Mason
would you even take if you were a president of a club?
No.
Would you even take the risk? Would you even take the...
No, I wouldn't want to be associated with a player. I can't remember who the player was. Actually, I think I can. Gylfi Sigurdsson. And we have to be very careful what we say about him, but I think...
He was accused of meeting with and soliciting an underage girl, I think.
Moyes might have been his manager at the time, and it came out, and he instantly was like, he's not welcome at the training ground. I don't care if you cancel his contract or not, but he's not welcome anywhere near the club as long as I'm here. And he was asked about it. He's like, I've got daughters. Do you know what I mean? But no, I wouldn't want someone like that. But to be honest with you, if you have a look on Twitter, it's quite rife across most of football.
This is another thing, I think, that goes deeper, and whether people want to admit it or not, whether they think I'm just being some preachy left-wing snowflake.
Which you are.
Or not, which I often am. But
what was it you got accused of being a part? Oh no, it was the parish bum brigade.
Oh, the parish bum brigade. Yes, proud member.
Yeah,
we discussed it though, didn't we? How willing would you be to let parish put one up you?
I don't know if I would. If I'm being honest, I was happy for you to do it.
What would he have to win? What would the club have to win for you to bend over?
An FA Cup would be good, wouldn't
just
it?
Ace.
And
what
stay
about
up.
What about a League Cup?
No, it's not quite enough. I mean, look, it'd be a special day out.
You are despicable.
But I wouldn't know. Because League Cup...
When you say it would be a special day out, do you mean...
Wigan won the League Cup and gone down? No,
it was the FA Cup.
Oh, okay. Which one? Who was it who won the League Cup that was a small team?
Got a feeling Swansea might have won it.
I thought they got to the final and absolutely slapped up. Or was that Watford?
I can't remember. Watford have been slapped up in the
one
final.
of the small teams they went down and won the League Cup. It's like, no, I'm not getting.
Oh, Birmingham.
Was it Birmingham?
I don't know whether they're in the bottom league, but they beat Arsenal.
Yeah, they did. I remember us going to Power League that day.
Obafemi Martins, I think, scored the goal.
Yeah, it was like a proper fumbly one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I was saying.
We were talking about rapists at football clubs.
And yes, people would just say, you're being preachy. It's not like that. It's not like that. But it is kind of like that. A big problem with sexism and misogyny in the world and in this country is that people often look to assign value to women, and I know it's coming from a good place. I'd like to say that now. I know, because I know people that do it, and I know it's coming from a good place, but it is a dangerous thing to say when they assign value to women based on their relationships to you or to men.
Right, okay.
So when they say things like, you know, she could be someone's daughter, she could be someone's sister, she could be someone's... And it's like, she's a human being.
Right, I get that.
And I get that it's coming from a good place, but I do think that it's naivety.
Oh, absolutely. But I think that just comes from how you're raised. So, like, that's how it's put to you, isn't it? Like, my dad told me to... No, he didn't tell me to treat women different, but he said, like, treat them like a mate. Like you would a guy mate. So, but that's essentially the same thing. It was treat them differently than you might because they're a woman. But it wasn't a negative message.
No, but you're almost doing a double switch, because you're going, society saying treat them differently because they're a woman.
Yeah.
And your dad's going, treat them differently to how they're saying by treating them normally.
Yeah.
Because they're just a human being.
Which turned out to be the right message. Do you know what I mean?
But I do think it's like I said, it comes from a good place, and I appreciate that. But I do think
it's a dangerous mindset to have at the same time.
Because you're still assigning a
because you're only relating to them via what they would.
She's only all right because
Yeah.
She might be related to you. Yeah, she might be. You're still technically, I know you're not. And they go, no, I'm not. But subconsciously you are. And even if you're not, you're putting out the message.
But it's a weird situation, though. These things are always a dichotomy in a way, because, like, we don't want to treat them differently, but we also need to treat them differently and are expected to treat them differently. And I mean that in the sense of, like, just things I would automatically do, like being protective of the women in my life.
But it's the difference between...
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just assumed.
It's the difference between equity and equality, isn't it?
I guess so, yeah. But it's a fine line, I guess, for me, like, in terms of, like, what...
But yeah, just to quickly finish up, you're subconsciously saying, and you're subconsciously saying to the world, even if you don't believe it, you're subconsciously saying to the world, you know, she might have value because of her, you know, hang on a minute, she might know a bloke, so let's leave her alone, you know. I know, like I said, it's a naivety, it's not coming from that place.
Yeah.
The other thing, and I can't remember what you were just saying, you just said something and it made me think of something.
I was talking about the fact, like, there are things we would be expected to do for women and do for women.
Yeah, it's that famous picture, isn't it, of trying to see over a fence at the football game.
Don't know if I've seen
or a cartoon or whatever.
Okay.
And equality is give everyone the same box to stand on, even though they're all different heights, and it might not actually work for everyone. But equity is giving the right box to the right people so that they all have the same vantage point.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it is. Like, women at the moment in society need help.
Yeah.
They need us to work with them, work for them, be their agents, be their... So...
In what way particularly would you say they're not getting that at the moment?
I think in many ways, I think
that's not me necessarily disagreeing with you.
There's a lot of bystander issues.
Okay.
I think when we see abuse or we see signs of, even if it's little things as well, I think we think...
Like, I know one of the big ones is if you're in a group of friends and you hear something about the way a woman's being spoken to, or how they're talking about women, you should say something.
Or if you hear things that your mates are doing or something.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be that guy that says, come on, mate, that's not... But equally you think, we think, well, it's not my place.
Yeah.
There's probably... And that's the other thing we also think, well, there's two sides to this story, you know. Yeah. There's probably something going on.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm going to be very careful of what details I say here. And also, I wasn't even there for it. But you didn't have an issue, but, like, if it was with a not nice person, you had an issue recently. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? When you went away recently?
Yeah.
If it was a bad person, that could have been a potentially troubling situation.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
because
about.
Of the person involved, it wasn't. I'm just going to put... But, like... So in that situation, you would genuinely need to step in and, like, potentially risk your friendship and be... Do you know what I mean? That's what we're asking people to do, is to actually... potentially make a sacrifice to make a better
But I think
impact.
that's also, and I know this situation is very specific, because actually the situation that we were picking on this particular friend for wasn't, it wasn't actually what was happening. We were picking on him and making a thing out of it when there wasn't a thing. But
it as a very light example.
If that thing was happening that we were accusing him of, it would be genuinely, it would be our fault for saying, oh no, but he's all right.
Yeah.
Because it's like, That's not how that
for
works.
being the endorsement.
You've
so
still
to
got to
speak.
step in.
Yeah.
You know, not just going, oh no, he's all right. He's a good one. He don't mean it.
No.
There's no malice in it. It's like, no, you've still got to.
Yeah.
But also, like, beyond like abuse and harassment and stuff, in the workplace,
Yeah.
you know, women still have to work twice as hard to, you know, to gain limited opportunities in
Yeah.
many industries. So again, treating them as a person and not looking at them and go, oh yeah, but she's a bird. You know?
Yeah.
As a candidate. And
I guess for me, I find it difficult because I've never had that mentality, despite the persona Jake likes to say I have of hating women. Like, I've always worked with women. I've never treated them any differently to what I do. I mean, maybe that's slightly untrue in terms of the conversations. Like, if I'm closer to a guy colleague, we're definitely going to have different conversations than I would if I'm friends with a female colleague. Sometimes, not always the case. But just because in general the way men speak to each other is different to...
Is that part of the problem?
I think it all depends on how well you know someone, because we have female friends that I would definitely talk to the way I talk to you, for example, and be as rude to or flirty with, or do you know what I mean?
And
like,
I'm just playing devil's advocate here, as you know I often do. But could there be an argument made for saying that engaging in those kind of conversations with work colleagues, people that you don't necessarily know that well, know well enough, are you normalising, quote unquote, locker room chat?
No, because I wouldn't do that with someone I'm not close to. Like, I wouldn't just, like, I was always very careful the way I behaved, particularly with female colleagues, because I'm aware of the implication. I'm a big guy. If I get angry, do you know what I mean?
The implication hangs over everything we do.
But do you get what I mean? Like, I remember listening to an English NBA player. I don't know if you ever heard him, called John Amaechi, and he's like nearly 7 foot tall. He's absolutely
by the way,
huge.
Can we just give a shout out to Noah Lyles, the NBA player?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Fucking legend.
For saying it's not the World Series.
They got world champion on it. World champion or what? This is America.
Yeah.
You ain't beat no other countries.
No.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. America, the only country in the world that plays itself and calls itself the World Series.
Yeah.
Calls itself the world champions. Big up Noah Lyles for calling them out on it. And he got such backlash for that, by the way.
Yeah.
From like all the other people in the NBA.
Of course. America's amazing.
And he even says, he's like, oh, I love America, I love the NBA.
Yeah.
But
no, but he
said,
to
be fair, he did say, I love the US sometimes.
He's just being an honest citizen.
Yeah, he's right. He's like, bro, it's an American championship where American clubs play other American clubs.
Yeah. And
you're not champion of the world.
No.
Anyway, please continue. The implication.
But yeah, John Amaechi was like, because of how big he is, his behaviour can never be the same as someone half his size. He can't get as angry. He can't, because there's an implication to that behaviour from a large black man. And it's similar for a guy of my size. I've seen of like I'm far more reserved with people than someone who would be smaller than me, because my outward appearance, I'm not a big smiler as I'm walking down the street. Like, I've been told I have resting bitch face at times. So like, how I present outwardly to people sometimes, until they get to know me, can be intimidated or feel uncomfortable. Do
you know what? I was talking,
I adjust accordingly.
I was made aware of a woman who was like walking down the street.
Yeah.
And turned into an alleyway. And this was on like a way home from a night out. And she said 2 guys behind her sort of called out and said, look, I'm really sorry. They said, I don't want to look like we're following down the alleyway. So would you be all right if we just went in front? Because we're walking quicker than you.
Yeah.
And we kind of want to go the same direction. So, but we don't want to come across as, like, we don't want to scare you of it. So would it be all right if we just ran in front and then carried on? And she said she was like really happy with how that situation unfolded. She was like,
but that might not even work with every woman either, though.
No, of course not. Of course not.
As you're about to walk down.
But she did say she was like, my heart went.
Yeah.
But she was like, but I couldn't. You know, when they said it was like, no. Do you know what?
No, I've had some really awkward walks home from work in the dark before, where a woman just happens to be about 10 meters in front of me.
They're the worst.
But she's making all the same turns as me. So in the end, like, there's a turning point where I can just take a 2-minute detour, and I know she'll be long gone by the time I do it.
There's one bit by my house where I will always, but I have frequently taken the longer route home. Yeah.
To avoid making someone potentially feel
because I'm like, I follow them from
I'm a giant guy walking down the street late at night and they're on their own.
Once you come off like a high street,
yeah.
Once you've made like 2 turns at the same, you're like, fuck it, now looks like I'm following her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, literally, for about 10 minutes, I was making out, and I just, at the moment, I was like, fuck, she's turning that way as well. So I just took a detour.
But very interesting hearing you say about how you come across. Because I've seen interviews with a few different people, black men, black women, white women, who say, you know, black men say, I can't get angry.
No.
And white, the black woman kind of saying, I've got the worst of both worlds. But white woman also saying, I can't get too upset in a certain situation because then I'm hysterical.
Yeah.
She said, I can't.
I'm emotional.
She said, when I'm at work, I can't follow up too much on my colleagues because otherwise I'm nagging or I'm, you know,
shrill
yeah.
Yeah.
She said, so it's a real pain in the arse. She says, where my male colleagues can do
as much masculine
shit.
Yeah,
like they can follow up, they can do it, and no one's questioning it.
No,
it's
I
good,
can absolutely
it's good leadership.
that, like, that's how it is. I can absolutely believe that.
And, you know, do we have more responsibility to call that kind of stuff out, to just say...
But I feel like the call to approach on those things are different, because some people are like, we need to sanitise those environments so it's freer for everyone, and then other people are like, well, women need to match it.
Are you talking about a cleanse?
Not a cleanse.
Like a purge?
No, not a purge.
That sounds like you're talking about...
I'm not talking about a purge. I don't want us to kill everyone.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
It sounded like you were heading towards that.
Do you think it would help if we did a purge every year?
I would love a purge.
I mean, we'd be fucked. I mean, you might be all right in your giant mansion, but me down here in the slums, I'd be dead 2 hours in, maybe.
Just as someone who works in retail, I would be very happy to fight back for 1 day a year.
Yeah, just make a mental note, like stalk someone for the entire year to find out where they live and just be like, you were rude to me once when I tried to help you.
There's got to be a limit.
So I'm going to murder your entire family, make you watch, and then...
Once you've identified them as a real dick. My colleague had an incident recently, actually, with a guy who's in regularly. He's a bit of a dick. And he started making really personal jokes.
Okay.
And my colleague just went foot down straight away and went, no.
You don't know me like that.
No, yeah, we're not making... And he's like, you know, he's like, calm down. I'm not going to say the insult, but he was kind of like, you know, let's say if it was someone who was larger, he was like, you know, calm down, fatty, or whatever. And it's like, no, told ya, we're not doing that.
Why do people think that's okay?
And he said to him, he's like, my culture. It's you know, it's just banter and whatever. And my colleague was like, yeah, well, in my culture, the name calling stops when you're 6 years old. So pull it together. You don't know me well enough for that.
Yeah.
Show me the respect. So I pulled him to the side, thinking, because he genuinely thought, oh, he's just trying to impress a bird. He's with a bird. I've done it, and I'm so sorry.
I think you've done it twice, actually.
Yeah, but the only once was deliberate. But he's like, I think he's just trying to impress this woman he's with. So he pulled him aside and was like, come on, mate. You know, it's out of order. You crossed the line. But he just stuck his guns, and he was like, you need to calm down. You know, it's not that big.
Being too
you're taking it too. And he's like, no, mate. You come in here being... Oh, he didn't say. He's like, you come in here wanting this, that, and the other off us.
Do you get people invading your personal space at work, like customers? It does my head.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand it. Like, you do not need to be that close to me.
I remember when my eyebrows, like the underside of my eyebrows, first started turning white.
Yeah.
And you couldn't really see them unless you were really...
up close.
And a couple of people would say, and it's like, you are way too close to be saying that. You need to take a fucking step back.
Yeah. Like, I had a bloke that worked the other day that literally wanted to be attached to me as I showed him to something.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I physically was like, mate, and I took a step back, and then he went to step closer again, and I was like, mate, we don't need to be...
Where I'm ill, currently,
yeah,
as I often am, as people will say, I was genuine. I was like, look, I'm going to put my mask on, I'm going to have a bit of space from people.
Yeah.
So I showed this, this person was like, oh, can I ask you a question about this? Yeah, walked up there. And they stood like right next to me, and I was like, I took a step back, and then I thought, I'm going to take another step back and sort of bring my mask down to show, you know, oh, I'm at safe distance now. I can. Yeah. And you just kept more like getting right up close, and it was like if you.
And also, people touch as well.
Oh my, yeah.
And I'm like, why the fuck are you touching me?
It's too friendly.
Like, it's again, you don't know me like that. Like,
It's
just
too
don't.
friendly. That's why I've always said it's a bit different now
A lot
because
of
it does
old men
happen.
do it as well.
I honestly used to hate giving customers my name
Yeah,
because then that's it. They think they're your friend
yeah.
and they will just get really pally.
Yeah, I'm really careful now because I actually had a customer once in one of my old stores that was like, I ended up over time talking to her more and more, and like even about personal stuff. And then it turned out she was robbing us blind. And like it fucking really pissed me off. And like one day in the street, she saw me and tried to like, and I was like, nah, it's not cool. I was like, you over time got to know me, won my trust. One Christmas we were given a budget to give regular customers a gift. So I gave one of the gifts to her, which was a hamper of like loads of stuff I knew she liked.
All I'm saying is,
that night she stole from us.
All I'm saying is, I'm your friend. I don't believe I got a hamper.
Had to be a regular customer.
How do they know what was a regular customer?
Well, people working in the store tend to know who comes in more often than not.
What, you can't just say, yeah, he's all right?
No.
Bro, what happened?
You got enough.
You're going straight and narrow?
I've always been on the straight and narrow. Like, I could have...
You'd make a terrible Tory MP.
I would. I would be too honest for politics, to be honest with you. I'd find it really difficult. Like, the corruption, the glad handing, the old boys club mentality. I hate that so much.
Except for that David Blunt. No,
and the thing is, you find it everywhere.
I sent you that video, didn't I? The indecisive Dave.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just thought it was quite a clever.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole load of them, but that politics one was.
Yeah, that was good.
I was like, it's worrying how accurate it is. For people who don't know what I'm talking about, the Fast Show, the sketch show from the early 90s, had a character called Indecisive Dave where they'd be in a pub.
Do you want me to play it?
You can play it if you want to play it. I don't know. We might get copyright. Although Fast Show's been on for like.
Will we get
decades.
copyrighted for that sort of thing?
I don't know.
Am I being really... No, that's annoying, Jake. I'm not connected to the Bluetooth. You better pad for a second.
Okay, well,
now I'm trying to connect to the wrong device.
The Fast Show was a show, sort of mainly it was a vehicle for Paul Whitehouse to see how talented he was. And Paul Whitehouse plays Indecisive Dave. You've got Mark Williams, who plays Ron Weasley's dad, plays one of the characters, and you've got Simon...
Who's the dude from...
And then you've got John Thompson. John Thompson is behind the bar.
Is the only Fool's Lad in there?
No.
No? All right. Well, here's the clip.
What I say is, in tough times, you want a tough party. For all their faults, the Conservatives are the only party that gets out of the mess we're in now.
Yeah, it's always get my vote every time.
But it was them what got us in the mess in the first place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah. You know what I say? Give Labour a chance.
Labour? They couldn't run a piss up in a brewery.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. You know, they've been too long on the sidelines, haven't they? No, you know, it's got to be any Tories.
But I say we need some fresh blood.
You've hit the nail on the head, Del. Yeah, fresh blood, that's what we need. Tories, Labour.
Well, what about the Lib Dems?
Took the words out of my mouth, Tone. Lib Dems, party with a bit of integrity, decent bloke at the helm.
What, Paddy Pence down?
Yeah, he's pathetic, isn't he? I'll tell you what, they're all a bunch of spineless, dishonest bastards. There's not one of them I trust or respect. Except that David Blunkett.
David Blunkett?
No, he's a disgrace, isn't he?
There you go, lads. 3 pints of lager, that's £5.70.
£5.70 for 3 pints of lager? Talk silly. I mean, what's it cost to make a pint of lager? About 3p? Just a load of water and some chemicals mixed out in a bloody great vat.
It's not that simple, Dave.
Of course not. No, you've got transportation costs. You've got to make a decent wage and he's your tax. No, cheers. Very good value.
And that was Indecisive Dave.
And the thing is, like, there's one person I thought of when watching that I was like, yeah, they will flip-flop depending on who they're talking to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not far
like,
off
not just
that
one,
name
there's at
either.
least a couple.
Yeah.
But you're genuinely, they're like, you could talk to them, be like, this Tory government are a joke. They're like, yeah, scum. You need to get the next lot in. And then they'll be talking to someone else and they're like, that Labour, though, absolute disgrace, shouldn't be anywhere near. And you're like, mate, pick a side.
Yeah.
But that's sort of scarily how the public operates.
Yeah. I've got a new clip. I think you might like it. I think you'll relate to it. And it's...
Is it something I've been saying to you off air for a long time?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
So many of you say to me, wow, you're even shorter in real life.
You led so beautifully into that.
That's glorious.
I literally, because you asked me to download and trim a new soundbite for the pod, and then I was just like, Rishi Sunak funny in YouTube, and then I found that, and I was like,
That's
that's
too good.
being
That's
used.
too good.
And then you just beautifully walked into it. Is this something I say to you off air?
It is though, isn't it? I say, wow.
But this was the one you actually asked me to download, and this was the Gillian Keegan moment.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anyone ever say, you know what, you've done a good job because everyone else has sat on their arse and done nothing? No signs of that, no?
That's something I say every week.
Yeah, well, that's because I sit on my arse and do nothing.
Sorry, I just spent
No
2
one ever-
minutes slapping you down, didn't I?
No one ever writes in and says, you've done a fucking good job.
No.
It's shocking. That whole
None
thing...
of the listeners do. Should we just play that every episode until
I
we get
think we
more?
should. Should we use politics to do one last time?
Oh, absolutely. I've got it ready.
Yeah, do it.
For the last ever time, Jake, this is Nadine Watch.
She's gone. Never thought I'd do that.
No, I thought, honestly,
I thought that was going to be such a long running segment.
I wanted it to keep going so badly. I wanted to get it to 365 days and they'd be like, she's still here.
Yeah, and yet...
Still hasn't
she
been
is actually
seen in
gone.
Parliament for another year.
But yeah, the Gillian Keegan thing.
Yeah.
So Gillian Keegan, Secretary for Education, it's come out that this rat concrete, which is basically like if concrete was made out of arrows. It's like very
it's
light and bubbly.
aerated
Yeah, aerated concrete.
Whatever that means.
It's like, imagine if you had like a concrete structure and you thought, there's too much concrete in there, some of that should be air.
Yeah, we need, this concrete's costing a bit too much.
Let's take some out.
Yeah.
But still have the same space filled.
Yeah.
And basically there's a risk of schools falling apart. And hospitals as well, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to an engineer talk about it and he was like, the problem is it could last another 50 years with no issue. But he said they're also capable of just randomly crumbling down.
Well, they said, the government genuinely, their defence was most schools are unaffected. They said most schools don't fall down.
I just had an accident.
Much
like the Conservatives.
And Labour immediately responded by putting up a picture of the mayor from Jaws and saying most people don't get eaten by sharks.
Yeah, which was a bit of a lame line, to be honest. I think they could have done better.
No, I
than
think
that.
it's all right. I think it's in line with...
It was all right.
Sir Beers'
It felt a bit
humour.
like Sir Keir Starmer in general. Like, he's got the right idea. The execution's just not...
Just lame.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, it's so good.
To be honest with you, though, I was like, of course she thinks... Like, who thinks any of these Tory ministers think they're doing anything other than a good job? Anyone who's watched Boris, Rishi, Suella, any of them, past or present, they all think, I did a fucking good job.
And there's a few things for context here with the rack thing.
Yeah.
I'd say 3 things. 1...
Maggie Thatcher was the one who started using it, wasn't it?
No, all the way back to Harold Macmillan.
Harold Macmillan?
Macmillan's government knew...
that it was cheap shit.
Knew that it would only last maybe 30 years before it started potentially crumbling.
And when did they start using it?
Early 60s. it started getting approved for use in buildings. So this is a long running problem. Like, I don't just want to assign this to...
This is an issue that's happening in China at the moment.
Sooner.
They're having to demolish skyscrapers made of similar shit that just crumbles.
But 2, while schools and hospitals are at risk of falling apart, literally falling apart, various governmental buildings have just had multi-million-pound redevelopments. And 3, a plan has been broken, a story has been broken by an East Anglian reporter. And this doesn't, like, the fact is, this doesn't shock me. This would be literally any government's plan, I think, sadly, that they knew they didn't need to keep it under wraps for long. They were trying to keep the story from breaking, the rat concrete thing. They knew they didn't need to keep it for long. All they needed to keep, and this comes from supposedly the education department, because this was where it was first flagged as, bro, your schools are going to fucking fall apart and kill people. The plan was keep it quiet till the next general election, then it's a Labour problem.
Yeah. Thing is, it wouldn't be that, because when the Tories took over, apparently there was a plan in place to fix these issues. It was an issue that was known about. Money was
since
set
the 60s,
aside
like I said,
for
since
it.
the 60s, we've known this.
And apparently, had the repair work been taken place, they would have been completed this year. So it wouldn't have even been an issue. Do you know who cut the funding for the programme that would have done the repair work?
Is it as far back as Cameron?
No.
Was it Sunak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Sunak.
Yeah.
So
I'm not saying they've not played their part, but I just think it would be unfair to label it an entirely Sunak or even an entirely Tory problem.
No, I think that you could argue that all the governments that have been in place since that have a level of responsibility.
Yeah,
but
I think.
Yeah, but I would say the Tories have made a decision over the last 13 years to constantly keep stripping and to keep cutting back, to keep
putting money in their own pockets.
Yeah. So it is the Tories' fault. This issue would have been fixed had Rishi Sunak not cut the funding.
Yeah, fair enough.
So for me, it is, if I'm being generous, 80% Tory.
I don't know. Like I said, I think it would be unfair. Given that it goes all the way back to Macmillan, I don't think it would be fair to label it as anyone's problem. But of course, everyone's had an opportunity to fix it.
Yeah.
And I've scarcely seen in my lifetime, I know we're very young, politically speaking, never seen a party so set for defeat at the next general election.
It looks bad. It looks really bad. I mean, there's actually...
I've never seen so many come out and say, I'm not going to stand at the next one.
Yeah.
There's always a few.
Apparently a lot of votes of no confidence have gone in recently as well. So we're not actually terribly far away from them trying to get rid of Sunak.
Yeah.
Do you think that happens, though?
It's got to happen with a general election. They can't bring someone else in.
Well, the thing is, if they kicked him out, surely the answer is general election.
It's got to be.
You guys pick a new leader.
There would be...
But that person's not prime minister.
There would be a revolution.
Yeah.
I genuinely do think there would be... I don't think mass...
There'd
be riots. I genuinely think there'd be riots.
I'd happily go march on Parliament and be like, come on.
You know, Boris got in unelected. Fair enough, he went on to win an election.
Rishi,
May got in unelected. Fair enough, went on to win an election. But Truss and Sunak now have both got in unelected, no election.
No.
It's just
and
not
Sunak's not even following the manifesto that that the Conservatives were elected on. Because that's something people seem to forget. Like, the Conservatives were elected on a manifesto. So whoever their leader is, because they haven't been voted on by the general public, is obliged to stick to that manifesto. Did you listen to any of PMQs today?
No, I caught a bit of the end of it, but not the main
If you were to listen to Rishi, everything's good.
Yeah.
Inflation's down. Prices are going down.
I find it very scary.
Economic growth
by the way. I did see Jeremy Hunt talking about inflation.
Yeah.
And he's talking about bringing down inflation. He said, we've saved you. Like, you know, we're talking about like it's going to come down to 5% rather than 10%. So we've saved you a £5. And it's like, no, if something's £1 and it's now costing £1.05 rather than £1.10, you've not saved me 5p. No. You're still costing me 5p. I'm still paying 5p more than you were than I was. And it's very misleading, I think.
I think it's massively misleading. I think they give us the impression that if they fix inflation, suddenly prices go back down to what they were before. But we all know not a single company is going to do that. They're just going to take the extra profit. They might reduce it a little bit to make it look like they're trying. But like to be honest, all the supermarkets doing their cards to get money off. If you look at any of those products, they're still more expensive than they were even 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's all bullshit.
It's just very, very misleading. I don't like it.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what the government does to reduce inflation to try and bring prices down. Companies aren't going to bring that on to customers. They're just going to take the profit.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
No, fuck them. Couldn't agree more. There are only a couple of things I wanted to mention.
Go on.
Number one, footballing wise, just because we've started with football. Have you seen Jordan Henderson's defence of himself since being recalled to England duty?
I haven't read the article, but I've heard the gist of it.
Yeah, he said, I didn't do it for the money.
I've done it for the project.
And also when he's talked about like the LGBT rights, and he said, well, I don't want to wear like the armband out there because I've got to being inclusive means respecting their religion and their culture. And it's like, it does. And absolutely, look, if you're going to choose to go and play over there, you've got to be respectful of that. You've made that choice to go there. The better choice would be don't go there.
Yeah.
But when their religion and
shows
culture is a persecution and even the hunting of a particular group, I don't think that's
gay people.
I don't think you can get away with just going, well, fair's fair. They've got their opinions, and you've got your. And he's talked about the fact he considered himself to have been like, quote unquote, on the front line fighting that.
Yeah.
You wore some laces and you wore an armband. Let's not get carried away here.
And let yourself be put on a poster.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, like, I've heard some people saying that he's had a really rough ride of it, considering no one else is getting this level of abuse, and because he chose to stand up for LGBTQ rights previously, that's the only reason he's getting bullshit now. And it's like, well, yeah, because he's a fucking hypocrite. That's why.
No one else came out and said.
I don't think you. To be honest with you, I thought he was a really nice guy before this. I think he's an absolute wanker now. And to be honest, just don't do that interview.
Yeah.
If that's what you're going to say.
But that's like England duty obligations, isn't it?
Yeah, but don't answer those questions. You can make it very clear before the interview, Jordan's not going to answer any questions on this. Like, footballers and organisations do it. All with any interview, they'll be told this.
I know I've said to you before, I'll go back to it, but Neymar...
he chose to take the questions and thought those were good answers
Neymar
to those
talking
questions.
about the Jamal Khashoggi thing was easily one of the best things I've ever seen from
Is that the journalist that was killed by...
Yeah. And he was like, I don't know about these things. I'm sorry, I'm a footballer. I don't keep up to date with these things. I'm really sorry. Look, if what you're telling me happened is bad, look, but I have no idea.
The only sympathy I have for footballers, in a way, is that they don't have a choice most of the time. Like, even if, like, say you're a player at Aston Villa and you get bought, or Newcastle, for example, any of the Newcastle players prior to the Saudis coming in, they didn't have a choice over the Saudis coming in and now paying their wages. But you can choose whether you continue to play for them or decide to transfer there. And I don't think in today's society it's a good enough answer to say, I'm not aware of these things. And
at the end of the day, he's gone to that league.
Yeah.
He's not, it's not, like you said, it's not happened to him.
No.
He's made the choice to go there.
Yeah. And the fact he was like, well, Liverpool didn't want me. Not one person told me they wanted me to stay.
That was the thing, he's made quite a big thing out of that.
It was like, well, yeah, mate, you were 34 years old. They were offered nearly 30 million for you, and then you were offered 750 grand a week. Cry me a fucking river. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know I said it to you before. Like, it's not about the money, bro.
No.
What's it about? Sorry, what's the project?
Yeah.
I don't understand. You want to go and play with a bunch of has-beens?
Yeah.
No disrespect to the players that have gone out there, but...
Well, I think that's slightly harsh. Some good players have gone out there. But then also players past their peak.
Yeah, not a lot of them. Not a lot of very young good players have gone out there.
No, I think that might come though. That's what worries.
Well, that's what they want.
But to be honest with you, if I was like, English football seems to be quite scared of it. For me, I would take as much of their money as possible and put it into our game, developing our talent.
Also huge respect to someone like Sergio Ramos.
Yeah,
who was offered
did play for PSG though.
No, but no, I'm not. But was offered the Saudi money.
He has taken dodgy money,
and he said, no, I want to finish my career playing at my boyhood club,
which he's had to apologise for mugging off repeatedly over the
years. He said he, according to reports,
taking a measly 20
grand
away.
Well, yeah, he said to him, he said they were like talking about contracts, and he said, I don't care. He's like, whatever, like the minimum contract you put me on. He's like, I've earned my money.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the money. I want to come and play.
Yeah.
At the club.
If his last club hadn't been Qatari owned,
PSG,
no,
it's not
I might have agreed with you.
I'm not painting him as a saint.
When he left Real Madrid, he went to Sevilla because, let's face it, he would have been on 250 grand a week at Real Madrid for a good 5-7 years maybe.
Yeah.
He had already earned his money.
But
and like, look, I've openly said I would struggle to turn down some of the sums these guys are being offered. It's an incredible...
But you're not already on... We've said before, we're not already on 100 grand a week.
And that's because I don't know what it feels like to have that much money going into my bank account every week. Do you know what I mean?
I know how it feels to have that much money going out of my bank account every week.
I wish I did. It'd be nice to know I was earning that amount to spend that amount.
What did you make of Burning Man basically just becoming a normal UK festival?
I don't know a huge amount about it other than that the people were trapped and had no food and couldn't get away because
it's in the desert.
I know you have to travel for like 12 hours or something ridiculous to get to it.
But the fact is, it was quite funny to me because it was. You look at the scenes.
Apparently, they're
like,
all still having a good time.
Well, they look at the scenes and like, oh my god, it's so. And it's like
it's just a muddy festival.
That is every festival the UK has ever had. I know we're only like 20 minutes from anywhere, distance from it. Yeah. But it's also brilliant because it's sort of only affected rich white kids.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, and I don't mean this to be cruel, but it's going to come out that way. It's a bit like the Ocean Link Titanic thing.
Okay.
It's kind of, but with less death.
Yeah.
But it has specifically targeted a group of people that, let's face it, could do with a bit of suffering.
Yeah.
You know,
making them work for it a little bit.
A little bit. So just wondering whether you'd seen that, whether you'd...
I'd only heard that people were stuck in mud. They couldn't get out because there was too much mud and that there's not a lot of supplies and things like that. So, like, I hope people are all right.
And the whole funny thing is as well was Burning Man started out initially as like a sort of hippie commune off the grid. We don't need to be anyone else.
This mecca
it's about survival and we can live in the desert and make our own way. And now it's like some rich
Can I
white
just say,
kids
though, I couldn't imagine anything worse than going 8 hours or whatever it is into the desert to be surrounded by people pilled up in the middle of nowhere under the burning sun. No, thank you.
Finally, the story that I was made aware of today.
Oh.
And I thought, brilliant.
Breaking news.
Absolutely brilliant. Are you aware of a court case in China?
I don't think so.
Regarding the Great Wall of China?
I'm not, no.
So...
Prepare yourself.
A construction company was doing some work.
Okay. Have they done damage?
You tell me. So they were not very pleased with the fact that they had to keep going around the wall. So they drilled a hole through the Great Wall of China.
Oh, shit.
In order to shortcut their journeys.
Yeah.
And now the foreman's and the CEO and whatever.
They're all going to be put in
the
prison.
government are coming down fucking
If there's
hard.
one government you don't want to fuck around with, it's the Chinese.
But I love the idea that, look, and I'm just, for the record...
You do it. I can 100%
I was just about to say...
see you stood at the wall going, we've done this 5 times now. I am not walking around this fucking wall again. Drill, baby, drill.
I was going to say, I would never do this because I'm not
I'd
dumb,
be the mug that's like, no, I'm walking around. You can do what you
what
like.
the problem is there's someone there that has had my attitude.
Yeah.
Like some foreman, lazy foreman has just gone, that'll be all right.
They'll never know.
They just drill a hole. Look at it, it's fucking massive. We could do one hole.
Yeah.
But they drilled a hole through the Great Wall of China because they couldn't be asked to keep going around the corner.
You take your choice, don't you? Like, they made a decision. It was a risky decision. I feel like, personally, if I'd have been there with you and you were like, look, mate, the only way I see around this situation is to go through that wall. And I'm going to be like, you're going to end up in prison and I want no part of it.
Well, it's a bit like Inbetweeners in the final scene when they're holding the car back from going in the pond.
Oh, it's inevitable,
and it's like, look, we just got to let it happen. Yeah, like it's going to...
They held it for about 10 seconds and we're like, well, there's nothing.
How quickly would you throw your foreman under the bus for that?
I wouldn't have been there with it. I would have been like, mate, I'm going to
quote football correspondent Ash recently, when he was asked about why he threw a friend under a bus, and he said, I didn't throw you under the bus. He said, you were laying in the road. All I did was not warn you the bus was coming. Which I think was a very nicely, eloquently way to put it.
But that's because Ash would have enjoyed the moment. Do you know what I mean?
100%. But how quickly would you have thrown your boss under the bus for that?
I wouldn't. I would have walked away. I would not have.
But the government come knocking on the door and they go, look,
instantly,
you were part of this project.
Instantly.
Before they'd even finish the sentence.
I'd be like, it was my fucking boss, mate. It was Hang Shi. Do you know what I mean?
And you'd be like, yeah, it was Jake. Couldn't be asked to walk around the wall.
Yeah. I walked round the wall. Despite the fact there was a hole there, I wanted no part in it whatsoever.
He said, I'm not doing this again. Once he did it.
Couldn't they just use ladders?
Once he did it. Once you still lug stuff up and over, haven't you?
That feels like... Yeah, but
it's quite tall as well. It was designed...
In places, yeah.
It was designed to keep people out.
Yeah, but if you see some of the images of it, there's some shoddy bits of wall.
There are, well, a lot of it was built in like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Like the stuff the tourists go on.
Yeah.
Not to get too conspiratorial, but
No,
great
we
is it?
can't dare delve into conspiracy.
but it was a good little story that I was made aware of.
I've got a couple of silly questions. I did have a couple of serious things, but they're too long.
You sure?
to
Do you want to
get into
know
at
when
the
it's
moment.
cold or when I'm aroused?
Both.
Okay, well,
How much of a difference is there?
it's sizable.
Yeah.
Sizable.
Noticeable.
God, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the same for every man, bro. Don't beat yourself up too much.
Apparently
Like,
not.
never have sex with a woman after being in the sea. Do you know what I mean? It's just not a good idea.
No, because
It's just going to be nothing there.
infections.
Well, no, I didn't say have sex in the sea. I said don't have sex after you've been in the sea.
Unless it's a rocky beach, you just can get sand everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a
If
disaster.
it's a rocky beach, it's just going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. There's no win
No.
in that situation.
No.
The only way you're going to win is to have sex in the sea.
Yeah. Go back to the hotel room, fluff yourself in the bathroom, and then,
Have a shower.
yeah. Not necessarily sound. You can still be
Get
dirty.
rid of the sand.
No,
I
like
know
it
you want to
dirty.
be dirty,
Shower after the sex.
but I don't want sand. I don't like sand.
Why are you going to get sand?
Well, because if you've been on the beach,
It's not going to be on my knob, is
it
it?
gets everywhere.
It's not going to be
Are you
on
telling
my
me you've never just had like sand on your nutsack?
Not
after being down at the beach?
Because I always go rinse myself off in the water.
Oh yeah, okay, fair enough.
So there'll be some on my feet for sure, but maybe on my legs, but not on the balls, bro.
Depends how involved your feet are in the next couple of hours.
Nah, I'm not into feet.
Sorry, in the next 10 to 15 minutes
Look, I still think that's a
of
respectable
intense,
side.
passionate lovemaking,
Look, from what I've been told by all my numerous
including
lovers,
showering.
is any more would be too much.
That's what I was. I was told that if my penis was bigger, it'd be too much. It would probably hurt.
Yeah,
It's just the right.
I've always been told that.
Yeah, I've been told that.
If anything, it's still too big.
You've got the same ego I have.
Yeah.
I've got
What a fragile one.
fragile ego.
I think all men.
We need. That's the thing about men. Genuinely, we need our ego stroked more than our cocks.
Yeah. Like, and I dance with that line with Leanne because I'll make jokes about the size of my knob and she'll just be like, mm-hmm. And I'm like, babe.
Do you know what? Then it hurts.
Do you know
you-
what I mean? You know, come on.
Now you need some time to recover.
Yeah, I'm not okay with you for a little bit.
You got to call up your therapist. Like, you just did it again.
Just didn't say anything. Said nothing.
Just look at it. Look at it.
Can I show it to you?
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna send you a picture.
That would be the clincher, wouldn't it? If you got it out on the Zoom call with your BetterHelp, then when they're not a sponsor, they should be. Because I think anyone watching this thinks we need help. Do you know what I mean?
Just imagine just crying if you've sent it to your therapist, or he or she, whatever,
Yeah.
and they go, okay.
It's all right.
They go, now send me one that's erect. You're like, that was erect.
Yeah. I'd like done everything. I'd stretched it out, got the right lighting,
I've helped it everywhere
got
I
wind on
can.
it.
I've helped it everywhere I can.
Yeah.
There is nothing more I
And
can
she still
do.
thought it was flaccid.
There's nothing more.
No, it's heartbreaking.
It is, honestly. It's like you said. It's when you've got the power. You're making the joke,
Yeah.
and it just comes back and bites you in the arse, and you're like, oh,
Like, and what would it kill her in that moment to go, babe, it's huge?
nothing.
Do you know what I mean?
Nothing.
I know it's a
Nothing.
lie. Do you know what I mean?
I'm happy living the
Do
lie.
you know what I mean?
Come with me on this
Just
journey.
pretend for a moment.
Come with me on this journey.
You can be disappointed later. Do you know what I mean? But right now, you
Finish
need to
yourself off, there's
stroke
no
my
problem.
ego. But I feel like women fail to pick up on that in general.
I think we as a society,
Let me put it this way.
Uh,
Say you were in the throes of passion with a young lady, just a figurative young lady.
can I just
Legal
clarify this?
young lady.
Yeah.
Illegal.
I know
young
my
lady.
reputation on this podcast.
I didn't even intend
I
it
know
that way.
I know my reputation. I know where this goes.
You know, you're in the throes of passion.
More
She's
likely
well
she's
within the
mature,
legal
but let's not
age.
go there. But
She's well within the legal
statistically, she's more likely to be a mature lady. But I'm
Yeah.
in the throes of passion with a mature lady.
age. Yeah. And she just starts screaming, it's so big. You know it's not that big. How
But it
does that
doesn't
make you
matter.
feel in the
It
moment?
doesn't matter.
You're just cool
If she's
with it.
selling it, I'm buying
As
it.
long as it's believable.
If she's selling
How
it, I'm buying
believable
it.
does it need to be? Like
She can't be
porn star
like,
believable, or
oh, it's so big. There's got to be like,
she needs to sell it.
she needs to do
It's so big.
yeah, a little hint of impression.
Or pain.
You know, a hint of like, oh, I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
And maybe even a little bit of surprise in the voice.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I wasn't expecting it to be this good.
And this big.
And then I'll buy it.
Okay.
What about you?
No, I think I'd actually rather they didn't. Do you know what I mean?
No?
It gets on my nerves, to be honest with you.
Is that how
Just
you're doing
hearing
it?
how big
On the
it is.
nerves?
No. I'll just put everything in.
All in.
Yeah.
One swift motion.
Yeah, including the balls and everything.
Some women like it.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Most of them do, from my experience.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, balls in, thrust and gyrate.
But just for contractual obligations, that does not include my current partner.
No, I would not say her name.
No. No, me neither. Especially not when talking about these sort of things.
She
It's a
doesn't-
strictly previous.
She doesn't like
partners.
to be called that in the bedroom anyway.
Which one?
Your current one.
My current one. Hey, current
She's
one.
got her bedroom
She's
persona.
more like the chosen one. Do you know what I mean? She's
Yeah.
the one.
It's weird that she puts on the bathrobe and the beard
Do you know what? I dig it.
and then makes you worship her.
I dig it.
Pray to me, my child.
Ian McKellen as Gandalf has got something about him. Do you know what I mean?
You know what?
The voice.
There are worse people to knock one out to.
100% agreed.
And he's a gent.
Yes and no. He's definitely a flirt as well.
You love that.
I do love that.
You love
You're
a bit of a
absolutely
flirt.
right. Like me and Leanna actually, like over time, we have a what we call the night out list. That like if we were celebrities, or like if we could go out on a night out with any celebrity, like people we'd include. It's quite a good list. I'll have to get it out sometime.
Yeah, and the list as well.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them both.
You can see that whenever you like, bro. On my OnlyFans, obviously.
I know, but I just, hard times are tight.
What's the biggest animal you think you could beat up?
Or like in sheer size, just.
Yeah, like, just pick an animal you think you could have in a fight. What's the largest one you think, all right, I could handle that?
I mean.
And like, I'm talking about you got to knock it out.
I'm going to be bold here.
Go on.
I'm going to say elephant.
What
There's
would
a
be
tactic.
what? I'd like to know what it is.
Tactic. Tire it out.
Right.
Because I imagine ultimately an elephant's not going to be that fucked about me punching it. Like, it won't be happy, but I'm not going to land a
Where
dent.
are you punching
I'm
it?
not going to land a dent
Where are you
on this
punching
elephant.
it?
Anywhere, just around and then move. Punch and move.
You're gonna like hit its knee.
Punch and move.
Pop, pop.
And then what happens is when it gets really tired from like chasing me round, I come in with like a couple of finishing blows. And we're talking hours.
And what are the finishing
Hours.
blows out of curiosity?
You know, just like a little.
At any point are you going for the face?
No. Not an animal.
Traditionally, that's how you knock someone out. You don't knock someone out by just repeatedly punching them in the leg.
I might like, if they're tired enough, sort of gag them almost. You know, hand over, a bit of mouth and trunk restriction.
You're going to choke hold an elephant.
Yeah.
Right.
What about you?
That feels feasible to you, does it?
Yeah, we're talking hours. I'm wearing this
No,
animal
but,
out over
like,
time.
You're assuming the elephant just stands still while all of this is
No,
going on,
it
isn't
chases me.
But you think you can outrun the elephant?
Right, outmaneuver, yeah.
Right.
It's a big animal, an elephant. They're
Yeah.
not very nimble.
No, but like, I think you're underestimating how long it would take you to move around the animal or duck and dive out of its way.
I don't think. I think you're overestimating the elephant's agility.
The thing is, it only needs one hit. Do you know what I mean?
One good hit.
Yeah, all it needs is for you to like trip or slip and like one stomp and you're dead.
Yeah, but we're not saying. I'm not saying this is an animal that I will take every time I fight it. But this is an animal I could
No,
take.
but this is what I'm
But
asking.
this is what an
I'm
animal
asking
I
what
could
animal
take.
most realistically,
Yeah.
9
Could
out
you
of 10
take?
times.
Well,
would you
no,
win
now
in
you're
a fight?
changing it. See, now
no,
you're
but that is
changing
the
it.
question. I'm not saying in some pie in the sky scenario where you're a Greek god of a human being that can run for hours and duck and weave.
But
and
what? Okay,
not
what?
get
Like,
hit
what's the
once.
animal you're
you
going for?
right now? What's the biggest animal you could
Yeah,
take?
can
And you're
take.
like, elephant.
Yeah, I could take an
You
elephant.
could take an elephant.
Not every
bro.
time. Most of the time, the elephant would fuck me up. But every now and then, I'd win.
I don't know.
What about you?
I think it's quite telling you chose one of the biggest animals you possibly could.
But a slow animal, like a big slow.
I don't think elephants are actually that slow though.
But you've still not answered the question.
What would I take?
Yeah.
I feel like I could fuck a kangaroo up.
A kangaroo,
Yeah.
the animal known for fighting.
Yeah, but like it'd be a fair fight. It's a boxing fight. Do you know what
How's
I
that
mean?
fair fight? A kangaroo is well quicker than you are. and it's packing way more
I think I've got more power
per
than a kangaroo.
pound.
I
Kangaroo's packing more punch.
I think I've got more power than a kangaroo.
Now who's being ridiculous? Now
You
who's saying
chose
silly
an
things?
elephant.
Now who's saying silly things?
You chose an elephant. I've chose something that's at least size appropriate.
You've chosen something in a nicer destination.
I wouldn't consider Australia.
Because
a
let's be
nice
honest.
destination.
Let's be honest.
There's more dangerous creatures there.
You're going to look like a massive dick going to an elephant sanctuary and saying, I'm going to fight one of your elephants.
I'm gonna fucking knock out that elephant over there.
You go to Australia, you're like, I'm going to fight a kangaroo. There's a good chance they just go, yeah, all right, mate, over there. But if you go to an elephant sanctuary,
if it's that
a lot of money's got to change
if it's
hands.
that famous Hulk kangaroo, maybe it's a different story. Do you know what I mean?
How often do you think you're beating a kangaroo?
With my power,
Yeah, but what happens if you don't get to land a punch?
I do though.
But you do.
Because it's going to get close to me as well. Do you know what I mean? It's going to engage.
Yeah, but what? Punch and jump back.
Yeah, but it's not going to do that.
Have you ever...
It's going to get inside and I'm going to get in with it and I'm just going to fucking scrap it out. Pound for pound, I think I win.
Pound for pound, I think kangaroo's more powerful.
9 out of 10 times I win.
One of us is a fantasist here.
It's not me. You're like, yeah, I could smash up an elephant.
But at least I'm being honest enough
You're
to
like,
say... I'm not... No.
I think I could take more punishment from the kangaroo than you could.
I'm going to put an elephant to sleep by tiring it out.
And then choking it out.
And then sort of choking it out like, yeah.
While it's laying on the floor, like, exhausted. You're just like, I just need to finish this off.
It's already done most of the work itself. That's where I'm coming in.
And then you just gently wrap your arms around the neck and you're like, yeah, that's it. Go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
Let me put my knee on your neck.
Police style.
But I feel like I could take the hit from the kangaroo, and then once it's in my zone of terror, so to speak.
But you don't think that would disorientate you?
No, I can take a hit. Do you know what I mean?
It's interesting that you've looked me in the eyes and said that.
I said it with chest.
You said it with chest.
I think like a penguin's a safe bet as well.
Oh, you could kick a penguin. Do you know what I mean?
I could fuck a penguin up.
They huddle together as well. You could run in and just try and...
Haymaker.
You could just try and kick one.
Just start twatting penguins.
Yeah, you could try and pump one between the posts.
That's like, I reckon I could take a few penguins. Do you know what I mean?
How far do you think you could kick a penguin?
I think they're heavier than you think. I don't think I could kick it very far.
If you had like steel toe caps on.
Again, I still don't think I don't know if I've got the leg power to make a penguin.
Could you get any air on it?
A little bit, maybe. Not anything to brag about. What about you?
Yeah, no, probably not very far. Depends what penguin.
If it's a baby penguin.
Emperor penguin, probably not.
No.
One of those big fuckers.
Yeah.
But one of the medium-sized ones, one of the little puffin-sized fuckers.
Yeah.
You can get some good...
What age range do you think you're fighting at?
I actually really like penguins, and I've got no intention to kick them.
Actually, they're quite scummy animals.
They do some really dirty shit.
They steal each other's babies. Yeah. And they like just leave them to die, some of them as well. It's proper grim.
Yeah, huddle in during the really harsh winters and just leave one of them out on their own.
Yeah.
But...
Then they're cute.
Anyway. Elephants and kangaroos.
What age range do you think you're fighting at?
What, my elephant?
Like what age? No. People now.
Oh, okay.
So like, if I had to say to you, like, look, you have to fight a boxing match, right?
Right.
But you get to pick the age ranges of like what we can put you up against.
Like right now.
So you can quite comfortably say, like for me, I would say anywhere from 0 to 25. I think I'm all right.
I'm going straight in at the other end of the scale. I'm saying 70 plus.
See, I think I'm quite comfortable after 45 again. Like, I think between 25
I think
and
some
45,
of them are quite fit, you know.
They're proper men. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're in their prime.
They're proper men. What a phrase.
They're proper geezers.
Geezers, blokes, mate. Don't want to fuck them up.
But, like, so I think anywhere from 0 to 25, like, particularly on sub 15. I mean,
so you say like a 23, 24-year-old? You think you could probably...
Depending on size, yeah.
Well, surely that applies to everything.
Well, yeah. But like, I think I could fuck up a 7 foot 70-year-old.
Yeah, but you're saying like a 6 foot
23-year-old.
23-year-old.
I think I've got the experience.
You've got the experience.
Yeah.
All that fighting you've done.
And I'm just more robust.
Let me guess. You can take a hit, and if you land one with your power,
That helps.
yeah, if you land a hit.
I don't think you know how strong I am, bro.
I don't think you've ever fought a 23-year-old.
No, I fought younger though. When I was
I fought kids, yeah.
When I was younger. I had fights in my teenage
Have you
years.
fought teenagers?
No, look, I'm not. Have I fought teenagers? When I was a teenager, yeah.
No, you still fought a teenager.
When it was age
No, but
appropriate.
you still fought a
When
teenager.
it was age appropriate.
Seems a little bit dodgy.
Mm.
If one of us is going to get brought down,
It's going to be you.
for so many things.
Like,
I'm sleeping on so many scandals.
mine's going to be like, he goes to the local secondary school and just starts fucking up year sevens. Would you?
How often of me fights?
What, like, if you're out in the open, right, and like 3 young bloods come along?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, little
Utes,
scallies,
ruffians.
little utes, yeah.
Utes.
They approach you and they're like, come on, bruv. But they're all small. They're all like 15, 14.
I'm not getting mugged by a 14-year-old. Let's just throw that out there. I don't care how that shit goes down. I'm not getting mugged by a 14-year-old.
Are you like throwing hands? You throwing shapes?
If I've got to throw a hat, like, whatever the...
I'd quite happily smack a 14-year-old.
Whatever the alternatives are, I'll go through all of them before I get mugged by a 14-year-old.
What age does that change at for you? Do they need to be older than you are?
No, I mean, like, if some like 25-year-old approaches me, is in decent shape and whatever.
What age are you not willing to fight someone at? Like, how old?
Well, if they're still in primary school, it's a no-go.
No, but if you had to, you could.
But you'd just do enough to deter. If like a 12-year-old
Just
approached
backhand
you,
'em.
yeah, just enough to go,
Maybe one good punch to
fuck
the face.
off,
just
I'm
to
not
let 'em
taking your
know.
shit, go away. But it's a go away hit.
Yeah.
You're not fighting them.
No.
It's a...
I'm just worried I might put them to sleep. Do you know what I mean?
I've just got this image of you going into schools, fighting a bunch of like
Just one
13-year-olds.
shot in them.
But then the ones that hold their own, you're like, right, lads, let's go and fight some kangaroos. Come with me.
You've got resilience.
We're going to fuck up some joeys. Come on, boys.
Not joeys, full-grown kangaroos.
No,
The
but the-
joeys haven't done
The
anything.
little ones can take the joeys. What have the big ones done?
They looked at me funny. No, but like, kangaroos get feisty out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you cross a kangaroo the wrong way.
If you start a fight with one, yeah, I imagine they'll fight back.
I'm not, look, let's get this straight. I'm not just going out into Australia, see a crowd of kangaroos and like, that one is getting it. This isn't a scenario where the kangaroo's coming at me. It's perfectly,
We're talking about
It's
animals you
defensive.
could fight if they came at you.
yeah.
Oh, see, I'm going into an elephant sanctuary.
You chose to do that. You were like, I'm singling out an elephant and choking it out.
Oh, in terms of animals that would like charge you, it's like one of them little monkeys,
Monkeys are weird, strong, bro.
and they do it in groups.
Yeah, you'd get your arms ripped out of your sockets.
But I'd get like a stick or something.
That levels the playing field. But like saying it's gorilla, but I have a sword. Do you know what I mean? It's,
No,
it's
gorilla
not
would-
going to end well.
Gorilla would fuck me up.
A chimp would fuck you up.
A chimp would fuck me up.
Yeah.
It's like a little macaque
An
or something.
orangutan would fuck you up.
Yeah, like a little macaque.
I still think enough of them. How many of them do you think it would take?
What, to do me?
Yeah.
Like 7 or more.
Yeah.
I think 5, 6. 6 is probably on the border.
I think 5 is the
4 or 5 I
really.
could probably have.
I reckon I'm probably at 6 or 7. Yeah. I just feel like once they start working together.
Yeah, but you got to try and cut that early.
The thing is, though,
Swing for the leader.
10 mangy dogs can take down a lion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'm not a lion.
I am.
No notes. Perfect.
That's made me giggle.
Absolutely no
It
notes.
was your face.
You could bill it as that. Lion versus kangaroo.
Yeah. I'd fuck up a kangaroo though.
Well, yeah, well, if you took you with your power,
Yeah.
them little bitchy kangaroos ain't got shit.
You know, just fast forward to like, I don't know, a few years' time, we've made it big. We're on a tour of Australia doing live podcasts. And just a kangaroo's bringing smoke, and I just get absolutely pasted. I get one shot.
Well, imagine if we're doing a
kangaroo.
tour around Australia, and then like in Darwin or whatever, some kangaroo comes up to you at the back of a show and goes like, "I heard you were talking shit."
It would say that, would it?
Yeah, think you can take us, mate?
I think it would just, you'd know from the look. Do you know what I mean? The kangaroos
Just kind of
there
like-
waiting. There's a few of them, and they're like, look, we're not all going to jump in. It's one of us, but we're here just in case.
Flicks a cigarette on the ground. It's kind of like,
Takes the Joey out of the pouch. Yeah. Irresponsible to be smoking
Start
with the Joey in
stretching.
there, to be honest with you. Yeah, starts hulking it.
Yeah,
and I'm
starts-
just like, I'm ready. I've been waiting for this moment.
hold my shirt.
Jake's having a
I'll
good
fight the
episode,
equipment.
folks. And it's a losing fight.
It's a losing fight.
So good luck with that elephant.
Yeah, well, this doesn't go to sleep. An elephant would go to sleep.
Guys, please let us know what you think about what we'd be able to fight. I thought that was a nice end.
It is, because do you know what we should be fighting?
The system.
The patriarchy.
That's well. I hate the patriarchy.
But in lieu of the patriarchy,
Fight
go fuck up
kangaroos.
some kangaroos.
Yeah. They want it as well. They're scrappers.
If you can't fight the man, fight an elephant.
Yeah. I mean, no, I think elephants are going to fuck you up, definitely. I think even you'd have a chance
No,
against
yeah,
a kangaroo.
Look, elephants fuck me up.
No, but a single
Definitely.
elephant
And I
fucks you
don't
up.
think.
But yeah,
I think
guys,
it's a more
you need
even
to settle the
contest.
debate for us. Can Jake fight an elephant, and can I fight a kangaroo? I feel like I've gone for a reasonable one myself.
So do I.
You
I've explained to you the
definitely
tactic. I've explained to you the tactic.
haven't. I wouldn't feel confident knocking an elephant out.
I'm not just walking up to it and twatting it.
That should be the tactic. though.
Yeah, it should be the
It's just one solid smack to the head.
just headbutt.
Yeah.
The old Glaswegian handshake.
That's it.
Bang.
But guys, you'll have to settle the debate and let us
I'm
know.
running this sanctuary now.
Would Jake beat the elephant in a fight? And would I be able to knock out a kangaroo?
Also, as a really
And also, let us know what animals you think you could fight.
out there alternative for any animal, like a horse or whatever, if you was really up against it and you thought, and you want
Do
to
you
take...
think you could knock out a horse?
Well, no, but listen, if you want to take my tactic of getting them to sleep rather than just knocking them out, yeah, get them to nut.
What's that have to do with it?
You're often sleepy afterwards.
Oh, right, I see. So you're then just going to give them a blanket and hope they go to sleep
Well, then they're in a position where you can start fighting.
when they're all rolled up.
No brother has ever finished getting his rocks off and been in a position to scrap.
I don't know. I bet there has been.
Not immediately post nut.
I wonder.
Not while your dick is still going down
If I was a boxer, I'd be nutting just before walkout.
on the walkout.
Not on the walkout.
You get some jizz.
I want to be in the mode with the music. Do you know what I mean? I want to be vibing.
You do it with the walkout music. You don't fancy knocking one out with the crowd cheering?
Not really.
Not again.
I think I'd get performance anxiety again.
Oh my God. That'd be the worst thing, like a crowd of people chanting, "We can't see it." It's one thing your girlfriend
I
pretending.
wonder if John Cena gets that.
Oh, I hope he doesn't.
No.
Although he's
Oh,
doing
man.
well enough, you know.
Yeah. Although he
can-
was in Croydon recently.
Was he?
Yeah, there was a photo of him walking down Croydon.
Was he lost?
No, I think he was doing some promo and he was staying
Croydon?
nearby. Apparently, to do with one of the projects he's a part of.
Okay. Do you think you could take John Cena?
No. John Cena would.
Can't even see him. How
I
you
actually
gonna
don't
knock him
think
out?
he'd want to fight. Do you know what I mean? I think he's too nice a guy, but I don't think I could. No, I wouldn't be able to see him to hit him.
Exactly. If you threw hands, though, he'd throw hands.
Oh, he'd just put me to sleep. I don't think he'd actually hurt me. I think he'd just get me in a headlock and lay me down nicely and leave.
Gentler. You think it would be a gentle put down?
Yeah. I don't think he'd hurt me.
I don't think he'd hurt you.
No. Could you take John Cena in a fight?
No.
But an elephant.
Yeah, well, an elephant. If I was planning If I was planning on dancing with John
John
Cena.
Cena's bigger than a kangaroo. At least I have
Look,
that in
what I'm
my
saying
defence.
is, if I wanked off John Cena
He would definitely be sleepy.
and then immediately put him to sleep, maybe.
Just lay him down.
Maybe.
And then hit him.
And then hit him.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, guys, let us know what you think, whether we're mad. I mean, we know which one
We've
of us
talked a
is
lot.
mad.
We've covered a lot.
We have covered
We
a
always
lot.
talk a lot.
We always do.
Point.
But I've enjoyed this. It was a
Yeah,
nice.
it's nice.
Jake, tell the people where they can find us and try not to fuck it up this time.
Well, Andrew will be in Australia coming soon, fighting some kangaroos. I'll be in
Pay-per-view,
I'll be in sort of Thailand, India, that sort of way.
It's going to be one of those boxing nights where it's how many of them I can take in one night. Do you know what I mean?
That stepped up. Before it was like, can I take one? Now you're assuming you can take at least the first one.
What if I just keep one shot in them?
Because the power.
Yeah.
Because the power, if you land a punch.
I just need one. Do you know what I mean?
But if you're not willing to travel to the elephant sanctuary,
I'd even let them have the first hit.
or buy a ticket to the kangaroo fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, you could bill it like, you've heard of kangaroo courts.
How about a kangaroo ring?
Yeah, that's mad. That's got different connotations.
Do the fucking socials, bro.
That was perfect. Okay, if you're not willing to do that, you can find us at Swords Crossing on Twitter, CrossingSwords_podcast on TikTok, CrossingSwords_podcast on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook, Crossing Swords. You can find us on YouTube, the links to which will be in the description to every single episode. Don't forget, if you're on a platform where you can like and subscribe, to like and subscribe. If you're on a platform where you can leave a comment. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment, leave a like.
Subscribe.
Really, really helps.
Nothing. It means
Costs you
a world
nothing
of
to put a
difference
thumbs
to us.
up. Nothing.
To hit that subscribe button.
Even if you're not watching on YouTube, go on YouTube,
It's an
open the
episode a
video.
week. It's not that many notifications. Do you know what I mean?
Go on YouTube, open the video, hit a like,
and then
put a thumbs up, and then close it.
Yeah.
Get back to watching, conspiracy theories about Star Wars or, discreet ways you can wank in public. I don't know, whatever you watch on YouTube.
Get back to whatever you want.
And I'm pulling those at random. I'm not saying those are videos I've watched.
No, it sounded very unspecific.
I just think they might exist as videos.
Yeah.
It's so weird when you go, have you rabbit holed on YouTube?
I do, but my rabbit holes are really weird. I've ended up with, there's a game show called Game Changers.
Okay.
And it's like an improv comedy group. And I think it's like a YouTube TV show, but you have to pay for access to it. So I've been watching all their shorts. And it's quite funny.
Do you know what's funny to me is when you find like you spend like one night just going through, and usually it is either Star Wars stuff, music stuff, like lessons, music theory, stuff like that. Yeah. Or weirdly, I quite like watching Americans react to British comedy. I don't know, don't ask. It's weird. But what happens is the next day when you get all the recommendations, and you're like, I'm not interested in this anymore. No. I'm done with that. That was 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's good.
This is new.
If you watch shorts on YouTube and they're dangerous, but it doesn't affect your main videos algorithm, if that makes sense, which is quite good. It affects your shorts ones.
Yeah, but your main ones stay.
Your main ones stay the same, so it's a good way around.
But yeah, it'll come up with like all these various music phrases and stuff, and it's like, have you ever heard this? And you're like, I'm not interested in that anymore.
No,
that was last night, me.
Yeah. I wasn't even interested in then. You just threw it at me.
And I just went, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. I very rarely finish videos that I start.
Yeah, like with shorts now, I can be there an hour later and still just flick into the next one. And I've started watching people living in vans, in a truck, like a truck driver's daily vlog.
I mean, you're getting dangerously close to just downloading Train Simulator and just having yourself a whale of a time.
I don't think I'll ever go that far. I do like medieval games.
But you're getting close.
Yeah, I don't think I'll get there. I don't play games that much anymore. I end up playing them on my phone.
Plane simulator or whatever.
No. I could do that quite comfortably. There's like a whole simulation set up upstairs.
What kind of house is this?
It was my dad's.
And I'm the rich one?
It was my dad's.
You motherfuckers are training pilots?
We could do.
Wait, are you training pilots for like commercial reasons or for like other reasons?
Commercial.
Understood.
Yeah. Domestic.
For when you want to just
go
from one place to another.
Yeah.
I get it.
I do it mainly so if the pilot dies during a flight and the co-pilot
Someone's
dies
ready
during
to
the
take
flight,
over.
I'm there. Do you know what I mean? Can anyone here fly a plane? I've been waiting for this moment my whole life.
I would love that.
Would you trust me to fly that plane?
Not even a bit, but I don't really have a choice.
Look, I drive a forklift, so
Practically the same.
do you know what I mean?
Practically the same. And you know what? I've driven a hard bargain,
Yeah.
and yet I'm not sure I trust myself behind the wheel of a plane. First of all, it's not even a wheel.
It's a yoke.
Yeah. Second of all,
Bet you didn't even know that, did you?
there was no second of all.
Right, guys, we'll see you soon.
Fly high.
And often.